Chapter 38. Hatred. I slid away and inched backward until my back reached a big tree that prevented any further retreat. At that moment, I thought I was going to die. Who would save me now? I thought desperately. Kaharu would return any minute now, but what could she do as she was only a petite woman? I tried to think about my options, but my brain went completely blank. I kept my eyes tightly closed, thought of my parents and prayed. "Stop teasing him like that, he is already scared now," Kaharu's voice said from behind. "Kaharu, Kaharu," I cried out. "Please calm down, he's not going to harm you," she said. "That's enough. Don't you see that he's very frightened?" she said while putting down an armful of fruits that she had just picked. She went to the tiger, stretched out her hand and gently patted the giant beast on its head. As soon as her hand touched its head, the angry tiger transformed into a tame feline. As Kaharu gently scratched its neck, it responded by sweetly closing its eyes, like a cat. "He told me that he could sense the hatred in your body. He has never smelled this scent before, so he only wanted to sniff you closely," Kaharu said. "Ah, you said he? You mean this tiger?" I asked. "Yes," she replied. "You can talk to the tiger?" I asked, wide-eyed. "Of course, we use telepathy," she answered, as if this was the most natural thing in the world. "Telepathy is the universal language of souls. Both humans and animals use it as a means of communication," she added. "I've never thought that you can use telepathy to communicate with animals, too," I said. "Not only with animals, but also with trees, and with every other living thing, actually," Kaharu replied. "In the beginning, humans on planet Gaia used this soul language to communicate with animals as well," she said. "Really? You mean us, human beings on Earth?" "Yes, but it was such a long time ago. But why can't we do that anymore?" I asked while watching the tiger as it sat down and laid beside Kaharu. "It's not that you can't do it, but rather you forgot how," she replied. "Let's have some fruits now to replenish our energy before we resume our trip." She had collected many different kinds of fruits. I knew only some of them, and could identify mangoes and grapes. For the others, I had no clue what they were. "Try this one," she handed me a fruit I didn't recognize. "What's the name of this fruit?" I asked. "We call it Seiko." She tried pronouncing the name. "I like it a lot." I took it and examined it. It had a large oval shape, almost as big as a papaya, but its peel was hard and took on a shiny black color like mangosteen. The only difference was that the unique fruit in my hand was darker. When I opened it, its contents resembled mangosteen, but its form was longer and the seeds were soft and white. It might have belonged to the same family as mangosteens, but perhaps a different species. It was very sweet, juicy and refreshing, and our stomachs were filled after we ate a fruit each. I picked a bunch of grapes as I was curious to know if they would taste different than those of my world. From the first bite, I could already feel that they were different. The flesh was harder and sweeter than that of any other grapes I had tried before. "The grapes here taste delicious," I told Kaharu. "What did you call them?" she said as she smiled gently. "We call them grapes," I replied. "That sounds funny." She gave a little laugh. "And you? What do you call them?" I asked in return. "We call them sulfa," Kaharu replied. "I think this name sounds even funnier," I said. "What about this one? What do you call it?" I asked, picking up a mango. It's a samina, Kaharu said awkwardly. Ah, this name sounds nice, I answered. What do you call it? She asked back. Mango, I replied. This time, she burst out laughing. You call Samina a mango? Ha ha, she laughed out aloud. Is mango an odd name? I asked. We continued with our name and taste that fruit session for the rest of the fruits collected, laughing hilariously at the odd-sounding ones, and bantering with each other as we ate. For a moment, we had almost forgotten about that big but not so ferocious cat, now resting beside us, that had now dozed off. Looking at him made me curious. What do tigers actually eat? Do they hunt for food like those of my world? I asked. Yes, they hunt deer for food by instinct, Kaharu replied. They're predators. Then, I continued. Yes, that's right. I see. So, there's a high probability that he could eat us at any time. I stuttered as I felt the tiger lying against me. You need not worry, 99% of this species don't eat human flesh. There's still this nagging thought that he may represent that 1% and may prefer to switch his diet today to human flesh. I said, she seemed to be thinking about that possibility. We shouldn't trust animals that are natural predators and assume that they won't attack us. I insisted, let me tell you something so that you feel more at ease. I'll explain why this tiger and other carnivores in this world don't prey on humans, she said as she tried to calm me down. Kaharu continued. When I didn't reply, it's not that I didn't know what to say, but I was rearranging my thoughts and turning them into words to help you understand rationally. That's because I know it's very difficult for you to believe and trust this idea. Tim, it's all about love, and that's what I'm trying to explain to make you understand. What does the question of tigers eating humans have anything to do with love? I asked. It's about the response to the frequency, she answered. Oh, now you're taking it too far, I said. Calm down first. If you want to understand what I'm about to explain, you have to understand this principle first. Okay, please go on, I said grudgingly.